Hey guys, give me 1 second. I'm just getting situated here. With everything. So tonight is the fourth and final part of our series. Pardon me, I have a itch in my throat. I took some allergy medicine this morning, but I feel like I need to take some more. I need to take it in the morning and at night. It's supposed to last for 24 hours, but I just don't know. Alright, so tonight is the fourth part. Forgive me, guys. My allergies are really bothering me, and I'm tired on top of that. But regardless, I want to finish up this series, and this is the fourth part of our series on renal medullary carcinoma. As you know, we've had 3 guests this month, and today is just going to be a Q&A. Rather than interviewing a 4th person, we are going to do a Q&A. So if you're watching, come on in, comment, say hey, say chit chat, so that I'll know that you're here. Share the video. If you have any questions about this particular kind of cancer, or the journey, or concerns about you know, who it affects, just anything, questions about sickle cell. I know a little bit about it, but we do know that there's a connection between sickle cell and RMC. Just anything that you may have to say, comment, want to know, just come on in and let's talk about it. Just come on in, and you know, I'll share what I know, and you know, let's just do it. So go ahead and hit share for me, comment, chit chat, so that I'll know that you are here. And I'm trying to see what's going on here on my computer and on my phone, so that's why I keep looking down, because you know, Facebook acts crazy. Sometimes you can't see what's really going on. So come on in, and just let me know that you're here, and you know, ask me any questions, or if you just want to just chit chat or just hang, just let me know. I'll be here. I just want to, I'm sure lots of you guys, some of you guys have heard Seth's story and parts of our family's journey, and I think that awareness is one of the most important parts of any kind of, hey daughter-in-law, awareness is you know, such a big part of, you know, knowing what's going on, and then you can kind of pay attention better to your surroundings. So that's one of the reasons why I just keep repeating the same things over and over and over again. And you know, maybe some people are tired of hearing it, but as long as I have breath, I will continue to speak about it, because people need to know. People need to be aware and conscious of, you know, what's going on with our bodies and with our children's bodies, and not to disregard things that we think are irrelevant, because you never know. You never know. So, I mean, with Seth, we had no idea that these things that seem like normal teenage things actually, and when you combine them, turned out to be a terrible thing, you know. So I think that's one of the things I've learned, not to, you know, push things to the side or, you know, ignore things, but you know, it's like a balance, because you don't want to be scared, you don't want to be super or over diligent, you know, and every little thing is a big thing, but we don't want to disregard things either. So you know, that's just one of the many lessons that I've learned. So anybody else here, if you're here, say hey, say chit chat, let me know that you're here. My husband in the living room singing. If you have any questions about, you know, just what it is and what's going on, and how do you know, and who do I talk to, and what do I say, and what should I be concerned about, and you know, what the symptoms are, and who it affects, and any of those things, you know, or just something that maybe you've gone through that you'd like to share, because there's just so many things out here. We never know what somebody's actually going through. Y'all see my shirt? Look at that. This is Sweet Melody from the Stuff Strong apparel line. I absolutely love it. Get you one. I'll pin the link in the comments for you guys. Look at it. Beautiful rose. Seth, that was his favorite flower. And the treble cloth here, which represents his music. And of course, Stuff Strong, because that's what I strive to be every day. So, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. Let me know. What would you like to hear? What would you like to know? Babe, what are you laughing at? What is so funny? He is in there cracking up. Let me see. Nicole, you still here, honey? Do you have any questions? Any thoughts? Anything you want to say, babies? I will let you know that we are working so hard to put some things in place. I'm so excited about what this year is going to bring for our community. We're dreaming big and putting the work in to make it get done. You know, because faith without works, you know how that goes. Faith without works gets you nowhere. Let's see. Let's see. So we know, you know, and I'm gonna just, you know, repeat it again. RMC is a disease that is a kidney cancer, very aggressive, affects generally males, but it can affect females. The age ranges from, the average age range from about 12 to 35. It affects brown and black people because sickle cell trait is one of the common factors. Sickle cell trait or some kind of blood disorder. Hey, if you're here, go ahead and say chit chat so I know that you're here. You know, there's not a lot of symptoms. Symptoms are weight loss, pain in the back, blood in the urine, lethargy. And when you put those, you know, individually, they don't really seem like, you know, these things happen. But when you put them together and you're not trying to lose weight and you are losing weight, you know, your back is constantly hurting for no particular reason, you got to go get yourself checked out. one of the last symptoms is going to be the blood in the urine. And of course, blood in the urine is going to get everybody's attention. You're not going to ignore that at all. So, that was one of the big things for us, the blood in the urine. And we, went to see what was going on, because definitely something was going on. I really thought that Seth was going to be diagnosed with kidney disease, because my husband, he struggles with kidney disease. Well, he has a kidney transplant, yay! But he has struggled with kidney disease for the last 30 years of his life, as do quite a few people in his family. So, I really thought that that's what they were going to tell me. Hey, and I was prepared to hear that. And I know that probably sounds crazy, to be prepared, but I know the world of kidney disease because my husband, has struggled with it for so long. So I was prepared to hear that. But when they came back and they said, no, it's cancer, we don't know what kind, but it's cancer, I was totally unprepared for that. Seth wasn't prepared, husband was not prepared to hear that. Like, how could that possibly be? I think something's not right. You need to go back and check it again. And then to hear the kind and what the prognosis was just a whirlwind. I made a post on our foundation page and was talking about the first 9 days. And those first 9 days were absolute whirlwind. I mean, I have my son walking around, we're stuck up in this hospital room because of COVID, can't really go anywhere. People can't visit. And he, is feeling better than he did when we got here. And they're telling him the complete opposite of how he's feeling and, how he's looking. And it was just crazy, just trying to reconcile all of these thoughts and feelings, to be present for him, to help him to relax and be calm and understand what was going on, because although he was 17, he's still a child, and even for an adult to hear this, and understand that it just was so much information. So, and Dad had to go home to do dialysis at the time, so it was just a lot of back and forth and trying to schedule things and just get things straight. So those first 9 days, I mean, the entire journey was a whirlwind, but those first 9 days were absolutely bananas. Absolutely bananas. I can say that Seth had the best medical team ever. So they gave him the best care that they possibly could, and probably pushed the envelope even, because I have heard stories where doctors are just like, there's nothing we can do. I mean, just at the beginning. And imagine somebody telling you that, just looking you in your face from day one, saying, there's nothing we can do. That is crazy. I'm knocking over everything in here to tell me on day one there's nothing we can do. Hey, Jelena, how are you, honey? Just doing a little Q&A, filling in for this last and final week for our series. If you have anything that you'd like to add, go ahead and type it in. You want to invite somebody to come and chit-chat with us, go ahead and share the live and invite them to come and chit-chat and ask questions and, about this particular disease and the journey and, the aftermath. That's what I like to call it. I don't like to call it that, but that's what I call it. The aftermath. Hey, Shelby. Let me tell y'all about Shelby. So, after that 9 days when Seth was in the hospital consistently, he was in chemo, but he didn't always have to stay. So he stayed for a few days, come home. He'd go in, get his treatment, come home. And so we kept getting these cards that had been forwarded from CHKD, the Children's Hospital. And I had no idea. I'm like, who is this that's sending the cards? And so this person would send them to the hospital, and then the hospital would then forward them to our home. And so I thought, after maybe the second or third one, I said, let me get on Facebook and see if I can find Shelby Costa. Hey, Yolanda, how are you, honey? Thank you so much for coming in. Just doing a little Q&A, and then our series on RMC. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to know or you want to say, go ahead and type it in, and we'll just chit chat about it. So I was just sharing a story about how I met Miss Shelby Costa. And so I got on Facebook, and I'm like, let me see if I can find somebody with this name, Shelby Costa. And I found someone, and I said, well, I'm going to send a message and see if it's the same person. And I sent her a message. And I just is this you? Are you sending us cards? And she said, yes. And I never met her prior to Seth, like in person. I'd never met her in person. But Miss Shelby has been consistent in sharing and showing that she cares for our family. A complete stranger, but somewhere along the way, Seth touched her heart, and she just, even now, she's still, even after Seth has going on to heaven, she still, occasionally sends cards to our family. And that's the kind of love we need, right? Those are the things that keep us going and, keep us afloat when we can't paddle anymore. We can kind of just float along. That's the kind of love and support that we need. And so, Miss Shelby, I thank you for the support. Like, I really, really do. I know we don't really chit chat a lot, but man, very, very unexpected. So just like Mr. Bob I met yesterday at the gas station, like, it was so unexpected, but I needed to hear what he had to say, to me, because this whole thing has been a struggle, but these last couple weeks have been kind of difficult for me. So, God just sending us angels to be able to help us to carry on. So does anybody have any questions about what it is, what happens, what we should look for, who it affects? Any questions about our journey? Any questions about the foundation, what we do, how we do it, how you can support? Anything that you want to know, just go on and throw it out there in the chat, and I'll answer it the best that I can. Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to stay sane. That's all it is. I'm just trying to keep moving, So I know that that's what my mom will want me to do. I know that's what my children and my husband want me to do. And I know that's what Seth will want me to do. So I just try to keep pushing forward. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. But one foot in front of the other, and make an impact when I do it, being intentional about doing it, because it takes so much effort. So if I'm going to put forth this much effort, it needs to make a difference. It needs to make a difference. Somebody needs to be changed. Somebody needs to know, be impacted by the effort that I put forth, because otherwise, we're just wasting our time, and that we don't have time to waste. We don't have time to waste. So, yep. So does anybody have anything they want to add or they want to say? I was saying, this is, I had posted on Seth's birthday about his apparel line. So I'm wearing one of his pieces today. This piece is called Sweet Melody. And it has, the treble clef for his music and his favorite flower, the red rose. And of course, Seth Strong across. So I said, let me wear this tonight so they can see Sweet Melody in person. I absolutely love this design. This was designed by Sheldon Stevens. And he asked me for some things about Seth, and this is what he came back with. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So, Let me get a little sip here. So the signs are very general. Weight loss, lethargy, pain, and back pain, generally on the right side, like in the kidney area. And the most prominent sign is blood in the urine. And that's generally the last, like that back pain and the blood in the urine are generally the last signs. Though that's when it's like extremely intense and cannot be ignored. And so for us, I had noticed that Seth had lost weight, but I also knew that he had gotten taller. I mean, he was in school, COVID was happening, he was working, marching band and all that stuff. So I didn't really put a lot of thought into why he would have lost weight. I just kind of disregarded it as him, you know, having that late teenage growth spurt. He was tired too. And now when I think about it, I'm like, gosh, you know, all the signs were there, but I didn't really put it together to mean anything that was like big, you know, like there was nothing that made me say, hey, this is cancer. Seth had a little bit of entitlement to himself. And so his thing was, you know, why do I need to get on a school bus if my dad is driving right past my school on the way to work? So he had stopped catching the bus because he was able to stay home and sleep a little bit longer. And so I thought, you know, him being tired and, you know, because he would be getting off work at 10, 11 o'clock at night and, you know, a couple times a week, and then still going to school, and then, you know, sometimes having band practice immediately following, and all those things together, I thought, you know, that's what it was. But it wasn't. It wasn't. So, but those are the main signs, you know, weight loss, without trying, to lose weight, being tired, one of the other consistents, and it doesn't really, it's not like a symptom like feeling anything, but sickle cell trait. Everybody has either sickle cell trait or some kind of blood disease. 80 to 90% is of the patients have sickle cell trait. Jelena, would you agree with that? Most people who are diagnosed. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you for coming in. We're just having a little Q&A tonight. Just chit-chatting and getting to just wrapping up our series. Sickle cell trait, you know, is for me anyway, what I knew of it was, you know, you just need to be very cognizant about who you have children with if you carry the sickle cell trait. So my 3 younger children do carry the sickle cell trait, but I never knew that it was attached to any kind of disease. They never had any complications from sickle cell because they don't have sickle cell. So it was just a part of their medical record. It was in the back of my mind. But this particular cancer, everybody, I dare to say 80 to 90% of those diagnosed have sickle cell trait. So that means that we know sickle cell trait affects Black and brown people, and not just African Americans, but Hispanic people, people from the Middle East, Indian people, not Native Americans, Indian, from India, people from Greece, Black and brown people. They have a really high rate of sickle cell trait. And everybody that's affected by this disease carries sickle cell trait or some kind of blood disorder. And that's, to me, is really weird. It's crazy, you know, to think that there's a disease that it's almost like a target almost. Hey, Chantel, how are you, honey? We're just talking about RMC, winding up our series, our four-part series that we had this month for, it was called Renal Medullary Carcinoma Does Not Define Us. And so tonight we're just doing a Q&A. If you have any questions about what RMC is, go ahead and, type it in and we'll talk about it. I'll give as much information as I have, share my journey, talk about our foundation if you'd like to know information about that. For this particular cancer, I will tell you that there is only one specialist for this cancer, and they're in Texas. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Shelby? That is crazy. Hey, Aisha, how are you? Yeah. And most people, when they go in and they are diagnosed, RMC is not even on the list of disease, of kinds of cancer that they even say it could be. I was fortunate, Seth was fortunate, because RMC was on the list. It was the last one on the list. They gave us about 4 or 5 different kinds of cancer they thought it could be. And RMC was the last one. In my heart, as soon as they said it, I knew that's what it was. But I needed to, so and I get the Googling and reading, and I'm like, oh my God, no. I knew what it was, because when you read about it, there's nothing good at all about this particular disease. But yeah. So, some people's story, it's like weeks and weeks before they figure out, oh, this is RMC. There's doctors who've never even heard of it. Seth was the first person in 30 years to be treated at CHKD. That's the Children's Hospital here in Norfolk, Virginia. They had not seen it. He was the only one at the hospital May 2021 that had RMC. He was the only one in the entire hospital. Then there was a second patient who came later that year, later that summer. And that was crazy because it was like, it's so rare. And all of a sudden we have 2 patients with the same disease. How does this happen? So it's a tricky thing. It is a tricky thing. As I was saying, there is a specialist, but there's only one in the whole country. The hospital that the specialist is at, his name is Dr. Tanier, MD Anderson in Texas. It is a private hospital. They do not accept Medicaid except for Texas Medicaid. Outside of that, they accept private insurances and out-of-pocket pay. So you can imagine how much it costs to go to this doctor. And there is no guarantee, that what they do is going to work, because there's not a standard of care for this disease. Standard of care meaning for leukemia, for MDS, for sarcomas, for, different types of breast cancer, just all kinds of things for, diabetes and high blood pressure and just different things. They say, oh, okay, you have this. Okay, we're going to use this medicine, this medicine, this medicine. And generally, it works out. For RMC, there is no standard of care. It is different for each person. What works for one may not work for another. Hey, Bree, how are you, honey? Hey, Michelle, thank you guys for coming on in. We're just having a Q&A today, just talking about RMC, talking about the foundation. If you have any questions, you have anything you want to say, anything you want to know, just go ahead and type it in the chat bar, and we'll go ahead and chit chat. I'll give as much information as I can. I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just talking from my personal experience, from my personal research, from our journey. That's all I'm speaking from. We wanted Seth to go to MD Anderson in Texas. However, it was not something that could happen. They were not open to accepting, although they don't accept, because we had Medicaid, although they don't accept out-of-state Medicaid, there is always a loophole. Y'all know that, right? So the insurance company offered a contract to the hospital, and they did not accept the contract. They didn't feel that it was enough money. So he did not go to Texas. I don't think that he didn't get good care because he did not go to Texas. But I was very upset about it at the time, because I just didn't understand why my son's life, why our child's life had been reduced to dollars, had been reduced to the kind of insurance he had. It really made me very, very angry, and his father furious. Oh, you got your sweatshirt. Awesome. Let me see. Aisha, no, it is not hereditary. It is not hereditary. I've not ever read anything about siblings having RMC. I guess it's a possibility. I've not read that. Jelena, if you're still here, do you have any information on like siblings having RMC at the same time or after each other? I'm not sure about that. And let's see, I saw another one. Let's see. I saw another question. Oh, the guy. So, I don't know the exact science, Shelby, about how they choose what treatment. So, although Seth was unable to go to Texas, Dr. Tanier did consult with Dr. Owen at CHKD. And so, I think it's based on, like, the kind of blood type you have, how old you are, how far the disease has progressed. Also, I have not ever read anything about anybody being diagnosed outside of stage 4, which is the last stage. Everything that I've ever read, everybody's been diagnosed in stage 4. So they have some drugs that because there's a handful of people who beat it, who are cancer-free right now. Not very many. When I say a handful, I literally mean that, like, this many. This many or less. So, based on that, and then also, just the drugs and how the drugs work, and how the drugs work together, they kind of, choose, okay, let's try this. I was never really good at learning the drug names. It's a lot to remember. So I always made sure I kept all the documents and everything so I could always reference. And I still have them. I've not been able to get rid of them. And maybe I think that's going to be a part of my healing process. But just, they would, the drugs would be, some drugs need to be taken inpatient. Some drugs were able to be taken at the clinic, and then he was able to come home the same day. It just depended on what the drugs were. So I know kids that were on the same regimen, and neither one of them, they're both angels. I know kids that are on different regimens, they're both angels. I know people who took one person who took those very same drugs, and he's doing just fine. Very cancer-free for like a long, 9 years. So why did it work for him and not for the others? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. It's just, that's part of the reason why there's no standard of care. Because what works for one doesn't work for the next. And why is that? We don't know. We don't know. So I know RMC is it's in the medical world, it's a baby disease. It's only discovered in 1985. So, in the medical world, that's really young. Also, it's unfortunate, but when things are not brought to the forefront, there's not a lot of research and looking into, why this happens. At MD Anderson, yes, there is. But as far as I know, that's the main hub for research for RMC. Right. And I never really thought about survivor guilt, Michelle. That's a difficult thing to deal with too, because that's what we want, right? But why does it work for one and not the other? I don't know. But I think I would rather have survivor guilt than, not have my baby. I think I'll find a way to deal with that a little bit better, because this thing is terrible. The research is so Dr. Tanier is always doing different things, as far as I know and what I read, to try to figure out what's, how do we do this. But I'm not real familiar with all the tests and things like that they're doing. I know that at the end, after Seth had taken several different chemo drugs, the last thing he used was an immunosuppressant drug, and it's not chemo. It like suppresses your immunity, it tries to almost like when you get a bone marrow transplant, and like I was able to give my mom a bone marrow transplant for real in real life, and so my bone marrow replaced her bone marrow because she had blood cancer. So she, that was the only cure. So my healthy bone marrow then became her healthy bone marrow. And so that's what the immunosuppressant drugs were supposed to do, kind of, help him to regenerate new cells and kill the cancerous cells. For him, it didn't work. I think by the time we got to that point, it was just too far gone. For Seth, when he was diagnosed, he was already diagnosed at stage 4, as I said. He was diagnosed with it in his right kidney, with tumors in his right kidney, in both of his lungs, and in his lymph nodes. When it was all said and done, it had spread to his liver. It had spread to his stomach as well. It can also spread to your brain. It did not spread to Seth's brain, but it was just, had he lived, it would have. It was like he would be on this one regimen and it would work good, and then they would be like, okay, this is working, we're going to do it again. And then when they would do it the second time, the cancer would be the same or it would have grown. And it's like it got used to it. I call it a symbiont. Like it just latches on and it gets acclimated to what we're doing, and then when you let up, or the second time around, it knows what to expect, and so it just grows. And we had like about a 2-month period where Seth didn't have chemo, because he was in between chemo, and we were trying to get him into a clinical trial, which did not go very well with the Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. And during that time, the cancer just spread. It spread. So something that could spread so quickly in 8 weeks, it just took over. It was just too far gone. So, but there's really no answer as to why. I had a conversation with a mom today, and she was saying treatment, they're baffled because the treatment shrunk some tumors, but then some other tumors in other places grew. How's that possible? So they're like, well, what do we do? So what do we do now? So it almost is like a guessing game. And that seems crazy when you're thinking about, like somebody's life. And it's not always children, but when you're thinking about a child's life, it's like, why don't we know? So that's one of the things that our foundation wants to do, and that's why I keep telling the story and saying it and posting it, because I need to keep saying it, because one day, I'm going to say the right person, but I hope you understand what I mean when I say the right person. The right person is going to hear and be able to help me to make the change that we need. I hope that makes sense, because silence is not the answer. Supporting our pediatric families is absolutely part of this journey, but if we can have funding to try to figure out at least how do we treat it, how do we prolong life, how do we stop it, then that's what it really is about. It's about saving another family from walking my shoes, because these shoes are heavy. They're cement, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So that's why I keep saying it and I keep repeating it, and I'm going to for forever until somebody can help me to make the change that is necessary to save another mother and father from burying their child, because it just should not be this way. It just should not be this way. So, the I Fight Like Seth Foundation, that's what we do. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep learning as much as we can about it. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep writing about it. We're going to keep serving our community. And every time we serve the community, we're going to give them some information about it, because, people have to know so that we can make change. Today we were, I was out delivering knit hats and bracelets and stickers and lollipops, to Edmark, which is, they support pediatric, well, not necessarily, pediatric patients, but they don't all have cancer, but they all have really serious illnesses. And so they come into the home and they support the family in that way. And they were, oh God, I can't tell you how helpful they were to me and husband and the children to be able to deal with this. Like from the very beginning when Seth was up and about running and still talking trash and all that, to the very end where, he needed assistance with everything. So I was out today because we know cancer takes your hair. Most of the drugs make your hair fall out. And we had an amazing lady today, an amazing lady from the church that I work at, and she crocheted hats. And so we dropped off hats today so that when our social workers and those nurses go out to the kids, they can serve the families and give them hats. And it's just a little token, and it's just a little piece of joy in a terrible situation. So that's one of the things we did today. We had a coat drive. Tomorrow we dropping hats at CHKD. We have some other amazing things that we're going to be doing this year to serve our community and to continue to raise awareness. You guys will be hearing about it really soon, but I will share with you, in April we're going to be having an Easter egg hunt for our pediatric cancer family. And the details will come out soon. The foundation will be hosting an Easter egg hunt. So that's going to be fun. It'll be super amazing. And our kids will laugh and, collect eggs and get super duper prizes and crafts and snacks and stuff like that, which all kids like. I mean, my 13-year-old, he'll snack you right on out the door. Snack you until ain't no more snacks left, because that's what kids do. But, that's what we're about. We're just trying to raise awareness about RMC, about other pediatric cancers. We're also, just wanting to support the families and just try to share the love that we received with those who are walking a similar journey. That's really what it's about. And it helps. I think it's a part of the healing process. And although Seth has been an angel for almost a year now, it feels like yesterday. And so I continue to, do those things because it helps me to kind of put this pain into something positive. And that's important for me because, you know, if you don't deal with stuff and you just let it stay down in there, it's going to bubble up. It's going to come out because we can only hold so much. So I'm trying to be intentional about what I do with my pain, what I do with my anxiety, what I do with, you know, sleepless nights and all the stuff that goes along with losing a child. And you know, and so I serve, you know. I serve and I talk. It helps me, you know, it helps me. So does anybody else out there have any more questions about anything, about the foundation, about the disease, about anything at all, Just go on and type it in. I had a few tears in there, my nose. You know how your nose do. So disrespectful. You get a little teary and then your nose start acting up. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all. Let's see. Michelle, I see you said you got your sweatshirt. Yeah, so I said this earlier. So we have started an apparel line for Seth. And I'm gonna see if I can put the, let me see. And it's called the Seth Strong Apparel Line. And this is the first piece in the line. And it is called Sweet Melody. And I actually put the link in the I put the link in the comments. So if you want to, you can get whatever you want. I have a sweatshirt. I have jogging pants actually with this logo on it. I have this is just a short sleeve t-shirt. You can get a hat. You can get whatever it is that you'd like. And all the proceeds do go to support the foundation. If you would like to support the foundation, let me see if I can put our PayPal link there, or you can go to our webpage, which is www.ifightlikeseth.org. All of the monies that are donated to our organization go to helping our families. You know, being able to, for instance, last year with the monies that we raised, we sponsored 3 children. Actually, yeah, well, we sponsored 3 children for Christmas. And we also reached out to 2 bereaved families. And we were able to share wind chimes with them. And the idea behind the wind chime is that when it chimes, that you hear your child's laughter. That every time those butterfly wind chimes make a beautiful noise, that you hear your child's laughter. Because there is nothing like hearing your child's laughter. I have some videos of Seth laughing, and they truly, truly, truly bring me joy. So the website is there, ifightlikeseth.org. On the front, on the top line, top right, there is a donate button that will take you to PayPal, where you can donate, or you can go to ifightlikeseth, all one word, on PayPal, and donate to the foundation if you would like. And if you would like apparel, you can click that other link and order your apparel if you like. Hey, Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on. We're just talking about what's happening and in the RMC world, and talking about Seth and who he was, and all that good stuff. I asked, was it hereditary because I've been following Seth's journey. Him mentioning your husband had kidney problems. Sometimes it can pass down from parents. You're absolutely right. Kidney disease does pass. It is hereditary. And when I said at the beginning of this show, that's what I thought Seth had. I thought, I was prepared to hear your son has kidney disease. My husband started having kidney problems in his very early 20s. I was prepared to hear that, so, and that sounds crazy, but I was prepared to hear that because I had, dealt with kidney disease for the last 30 years with him, his father, multiple people in his family have kidney disease. So I thought, of the three, okay, Seth's going to be the one. But that is not the way that it went at all. Yeah, it was very shocking. It was very shocking. So this particular cancer, and there are some cancers that are, I've heard breast cancer, where women, their mother had it, and then their, the children, the daughters have it, and the sister also has it. But with RMC, I've not read anything, and I could be wrong, but I don't remember reading anything that talks about heredity. There also, as far as I know, is not a test that you can take to say you have it or you're prone to get it. But I don't know that if that's a thing with cancer in general. It's not like, diabetes or blood pressure. I don't know. But so what we have to do is to keep in mind those things that kind of predispose us to, and the main thing is just, if you have sickle cell trait, to pay attention to these particular symptoms, because outside of those things that I talked about, being tired, weight loss, back pain, particularly on the right side, because it is a kidney disease. Although it spreads throughout the body, it is a kidney disease. It starts in the kidney. So it is a kidney disease, and it affects the right kidney, not the left. Seth's left kidney was completely fine. Like, if he was still here, he wouldn't need dialysis or anything. He would have been perfectly fine with his left kidney. Even when the cancer spread, it didn't spread to the left kidney. But for that right kidney, it was destroyed. That's where the largest tumors were for him, was in the right kidney, and that's where it starts at, in the right kidney. So, back pain, on that right side, what they call it, like flank pain. That's that's the thing, and the main thing after that is blood in the urine. And that was the thing that sent us to the hospital. Seth had blood in his urine. It was red as a fire engine. There's no ignoring that. There's no ignoring that at all. And but I still thought that he had like kidney stones or something. I wasn't prepared to hear your child has cancer. Not that anybody is, but I just had kind of got in my mind, okay, all right, this is what we're dealing with. So, hey Joshua, how are you? Just having a little chit chat today, talking about RMC and talking about the I Fight Like Seth Foundation. What we do, how we serve the community, talking about Seth, who he was, and how he inspired us, to serve our community and the pediatric cancer community, as well as the community as a whole. So thank you so much for coming on in. Let's see, what time is it? I said I was going to chit chat with you guys for about an hour, and it is 8:57. I thank y'all for listening to me. I know it probably sounds like a little bit of rambling going on. I hope that you all learned something about RMC. I hope that you all learned something about the I Fight Like Seth Foundation. If you pray for our family, if you know the worth of prayer, and you can truly get a prayer through, continue to pray for us. Continue to pray for us as a family, the Dozier Calhoun family. Continue to pray for our foundation, that it will continue to grow and that it will do exactly what it's supposed to do, and that we will come in contact with the right people, as I said earlier. Thank you, Shelby. I appreciate that. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to send me a message. You can also email us at fightlikeSeth@gmail.com. It's I Fight Like Seth, but there is no E on the word like. It was a typo, but we was already in it, so we just kept it. So it's I Fight Like Seth with no E on the word like. If you want to send us an email, you can always visit our website, which I have put in the comments, is ifightlikeseth.org. And you can see a little bit about what we've done. And just, watch for us on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram to see what we're doing. And if you'd like to help out, not just financially, finances are wonderful, but if you'd like to volunteer or, be a part of what we're doing, hit me up and let me know. And we'll get the work done. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you want apparel, the link is there. We appreciate all that you guys have done, all of the support.
Here is your reminder. Husband, take your medicine.
Alexa is reminding. I'm gonna tell y'all two things. One I always say when I go live.
Here is your reminder. Husband, take your medicine.
The first one I'm going to say is our motto for our organization, and it's simply two words: difficult but doable. And when we write it, we write difficult in small words, small letters, and we write doable in large letters. It's difficult. This journey is extremely difficult, but it's going to be doable. It is doable. And every day that I take a step forward, that my husband takes a step forward, that my children take a step forward, every day that we make an impact in somebody's life, re-emphasizes doable. So things are difficult sometimes, a lot of times, but they are doable. And of course, it's not about what you see. It's not about what you hear. It is not about what they say, but it is about what you know. So put your head up and your shoulders back and shine no matter what. I thank you guys so much. Aisha, we appreciate all of the prayers. And yes, he is. Of course I'm his mother, but he really, really is and was an amazing young man. And I'm honored that God allowed me to be his mother. And as long as I live, as long as I can breathe and talk, I will continue to say his name. So you guys continue to be self-strong and continue to fight like Seth. Have a good night. I love you all.